Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 21st International English Online Meeting. Today is the 6th of August, 2020. And as usual, we have wonderful speakers. But today, every Sunday I say the same. Every day, every Sunday we have somebody as good as the other ones. But today, Gustavo Gonzalez is a friend of mine. I met you like 3 years ago. It was in Trujillo, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the UCV International Conference. So as usual, let me say a few words about gratitude, something that I value very much, and I'm sure you also do. Allow the power of gratitude to add joy to every area of your life. Next Sunday, we'll have Raj Gill and Mary Scholl. The next Sunday will be Christine Kuhn. And the last Sunday of this month, Mauricio Arango from Colombia. Gustavo Gonzalez, everybody talks about you. Everybody says you are the one, the best, and I believe you. I met him when I was younger. Look at my photograph, 3 years ago. I met him at the UCV International Conference. Yesterday, he was giving a conference, sold out, no more tickets. So that speaks about the experience and quality of Gustavo. Face-to-face or virtually, he is the star. He even has his avatar, you see? And he's been everywhere. China, the USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Peru, Chile, Colombia, Dubai, Sri Lanka, Turkey, India, Nepal, Italy, France, the Netherlands, Ecuador, Thailand, Vietnam, Egypt, Greece, etc. Where you haven't been yet?
Well, there are many places I haven't been to yet.
Bolivia.
Bolivia.
No, I've been to Bolivia. I went to Bolivia for the first time last year. Yeah, that was my very first time. I was I went to Cochabamba and
Trujillo.
Yeah, no, I don't remember the other city. Well, I drew a blank now, yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much, dear Gustavo Gonzalez. I know you are a very busy person, but also humble, and that is something that I love from your personality. Let me say a few things about Gustavo. He is a teacher of English, international teacher and presenter. He holds a postgraduate teaching degree from the University of Buenos Aires, a diploma on education and new technologies, and a diploma on neurosciences for educators. He has been delivering workshops all over Argentina, South, Central, and North America, Singapore, China, and Spain. Freelance presenter for Oxford University Press, Trinity College London, and Buenos Aires Players. Teacher trainer for the Oxford Teachers Academy, global educator for the Global Academy International Network GAIN, former vice president of APIBA, the Argentina's English Teachers Association, and FAAPI, the National Federation of English Teachers Association in Argentina. So thank you so much, dear Gustavo, for your time, your expertise, your quality of human being. And I will always be grateful for your presentation today. So let's give him a warm round of applause.
No, thank you. Yes. So thank you very much, and welcome everybody here on Zoom, and for the ones who are watching on Facebook Live. Ideally, yes, I want to share with you a nice morning here in Argentina. We're near noon. I think that it's, I don't know, 9:30 in Peru.
Yeah, 9:38.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and stuff like that. So guys, I'm gonna be making a presentation, but I will go into this interaction thing. So I will be asking you to cooperate so we can together create a community of learning for this 21st meeting that Jaime is conducting. If you're interested, for me, teaching is sharing. If you're interested in having a PDF document of the presentation that I'm gonna be sharing, you will have my personal email address on the first slide. So you can copy it, and I will be more than happy to share it with you upon receiving your email. So feel free to do that. I can share the PDF and the links to the videos I'm gonna be sharing with you. Okay?
Thank you so much, Gustavo.
Feel free to do that. Okay, so guys, I'm very, very happy and very grateful to Jaime for having invited me to be a speaker at this 21st International English Online Meeting Series. This is Jaime, you're coming of age with all these webinars. Yes, 21.
Yeah.
My proposal this morning is to talk of teachers as lifelong learners, going the extra mile. Teachers as lifelong learners, going the extra mile. You have my personal email address, as I mentioned before, right? And as we are all grown-ups and we are adults, and we know that adults have a need to control everything somehow, it's very important that you know what we will all be doing here in this session. So this is the agenda for today, guys. By the end of this presentation, we will all be able to identify our professional needs in order to explore areas for development. We are going to select appropriate professional development opportunities and resources to inform our English teaching practice. And we're going to get some ideas on teacher wellness and its importance, both personally and professionally. And I think this is very, very, very important. And, oh, sorry, I stopped sharing, sorry. Okay. Okay, there we are. So I'm very, very happy to have many teachers many students here participating of this webinar. And I hope everybody profits from this. So guys, I'm gonna start with these 2 words, never enough. And I'm gonna ask you what these 2 words, never enough, awake in you. If I tell you never enough, what do you feel about these 2 words, never enough?
Whatever we do is not enough.
It's not enough. So Jaime, does it carry a negative connotation or a positive connotation?
Because of the situation we are living now, I think it should be positive.
Okay, so it all depends on the situation, the context. Is that what you're saying?
And the attitude, as you said at the beginning.
And attitude, exactly. So, but when you say, oh, whatever I do is never enough. It's never enough. So it's like you never get enough. Yeah. So for many people, when you say it's never enough, that carries a negative connotation. Yeah. But I like your point of view, Jaime, of having that kind of twist with a kind of a positive connotation. And so I'm going to be sharing with you, I love music. And when I heard this song in the movie, The Greatest Showman, this song blew my mind. So I'm gonna invite you to listen and watch a little bit of this video to see if the music and what the person is saying help you see if we can address the idea of never enough with a twist, with a positive connotation. So let's see if you can enjoy this video. Okay, did you like the song? Let me see your faces. Let me see your faces. Okay, did the music help you change your mind about the negative connotation of, like, I mean, never enough?
Definitely.
They say music.
Yeah, I see some people nodding. I see some people nodding.
Yes.
Nora.
I heard an inspirational speech about Woman of God that they say, you're never too much, you're never enough. when somebody say, you are too much, it's like they are complaining about you, but if somebody tell you, you're never enough, it's good.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what, Nora? I strongly believe that everybody here, I mean, we are all enough to become our best possible selves, right? And everybody here is investing time in becoming a little bit better than we already are. Yes, so I celebrate my being enough, right? And I always would go the extra mile, right? And how did you feel as you were watching the video? Did you feel a little bit moved?
Definitely.
Yeah. A friend of mine, one of my best friends, Lucrecia Pratgay, says that music is the fastest way to generate an emotional state. And Esther, you will agree with me and Lucre on what we are saying. Music is the fastest way to generate an emotional state. And just by playing this, I don't know, 40 seconds, I just made you feel a little bit more like enthused, right? I said, where are we going with this song? Why has Gustavo presented the song? And what is the idea of emotional learning? So guys, my next question too is, what connection can you make between the words never enough and the idea of lifelong learning? Do you think that that is something positive or negative? What do you think?
It's positive.
Positive.
Exactly, positive. Because when it comes
we
to...
never have enough, yes, we never have enough time, enough stuff learned. We're still learning. We are learners.
We're still
As
learning.
teachers, we never stop learning. That's the idea.
Exactly. That's why I want to share this quote by Jiro Krishnamurti, who said, there is no end to education. It is not that you read a book, pass an examination, and finish with education. The whole of life, from the moment you are born to the moment you die, is a process of learning. And I couldn't agree more with this quote, because I've seen many people, many people getting their teaching qualification degree and saying, that's it, I am a teacher now, I've done it. And for me, this is the first step. This is a stepping stone into doing something else. So when you get your qualification as a teacher, this is the beginning of your teaching life. Do you agree with me?
Of course.
I've seen teachers
not
attending any conventions, not attending any professional development opportunity, because they say, no, I am already a teacher of English. What else is there for me to do? And no, yes, I mean, we need to learn full life. And that's why I celebrate your being here this morning. So, do you agree with this quote, with Jiro Krishnamurti's quote?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Life is an endless learning process. Teaching should be an endless learning training process.
Yeah.
Because we're always learning. We should be changing along the way. We should be probably practicing in the beginning. Since I'm an old teacher, I'm a retired teacher, I know that what I did when I...
Yeah, who's speaking? Because I cannot see the...
Irma from Ecuador.
Okay, Irma. Yes, I totally agree with you that it's a kind of never-ending process. We always keep learning. Even in your case, you say, I am retired and I'm still learning. So this is a clear example of lifelong learning. But now, guys, let me go a little bit academic, and share with you what Gaske said in 1995. That one constant finding in the research literature is that notable improvements in education almost never take place in the absence of professional development. Almost never take place in the absence of professional development. And of course, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite definitions of continual professional development by Christopher Day. What is continuing professional development? CPD, let me start from scratch. According to Day, all natural learning experiences and those conscious and planned activities which are intended to be of direct or indirect benefit to the individual, group, or school, which contributes through this to the quality of education in the classroom, to the quality of education in the classroom. And then he continues, it is the process by which, alone and with others, teachers review, renew, and extend their commitment as, and I love this phrase, change agents, to the moral purpose of teaching, and by which they acquire and develop critically the knowledge, skills, and emotional intelligence essential to good professional thinking, planning, and practice with children, young people, and colleagues throughout each phase of their teaching lives. And I want you to pay attention to the words, to these two words, change agents. We are not just teachers. We are educators, and as educators, we carry the torch of being change agents. And we have that power. We have that power in our hands to transform people's lives. And I think this is a blessing. This is a blessing that we need to put to good use. So guys, CPD, continual professional development, is a critical element in successful educational systems, enhancing teacher quality, organizational effectiveness, and student outcomes. Okay, so guys, do you like this picture here?
Yeah.
Do you like
yes.
it? Yeah?
Yes.
Where is it?
I think it's in Australia.
Okay.
So what, I mean, that is a very silly question, but what can you see in this picture, guys? What can you see in this picture?
A bridge, but to me, it's like helping others to reach till the end.
Okay, who's saying that? Paula, was it you?
What?
No.
Vanessa.
I was talking about that. Yes, it's a bridge, but when I saw it, I thought about this way of helping others to reach the end of it. Like a kind of a scaffolding.
Vanessa, yeah, you're such a good teacher because you are not answering my question. You are going beyond my question. And that's what
because I was
thinking
and rethinking.
That's the point. That one of the things that we teachers always do by mistake is we ask our students, what can you see in this picture? And that picture opens the door for only factual information. So when you present the student with questions that, what can you see in this picture? The only thing that they will be able to respond is what they see, because that's what you're asking. And that will be totally different if you can ask the student, why do you think I am showing a picture of a bridge? Because everybody knows that that's a bridge. You know what I mean? So why do you think that I'm showing a picture of a bridge? And that opens the door to plurality of interpretations. And I think that's essential in helping students have a voice, have a voice to have a go at voicing their feelings and their opinions, not just what can you see, because that's a limiting question. So Vane, I really appreciate your answer. So why do you think I am sharing a picture of a bridge in my presentation for professional development? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Maybe because what you are doing is for us to become closer to the way our students learn, how we can improve our teaching every day.
Because you're also reaching the gap.
By coming closer to what they need, to what they interest.
Paula, I really appreciate your contribution, but that has nothing to do with what I had in mind. No, just kidding. That's Gustavo.
That's Gustavo. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid.
No, I want to make a point here. Paula, how did you feel when I didn't accept your contribution? How did you feel? Thank you, but it has nothing to do with what?
No, since I've known you, because I've been in many of yours, I didn't take it bad. But for the first month, at the first time I said, oh, I really did a crappy work.
Yeah, I'm just reading on the chat, yes, that Marlene says that was mean. Exactly, Marlene, that was totally mean. And this is just to show you something. What I'm trying to do here is to scaffold self-confidence, and I'm trying to make you feel that you can make a contribution to the webinar without being afraid of making mistakes. So what happens if I just, the moment somebody volunteer, I just didn't accept the answer, Paula will not open her mouth again. So instead of helping create a safe learning environment, I am conditioning you to say, no, I'm not going to participate. So for the ones who are teaching, remember this, when we are brainstorming, when we are scaffolding this idea of self-confidence, remember that there are no right or wrong answers. There are valid answers. So it's very important to validate every student's contribution.
Yeah,
even if they contribute. Ellie, yes.
Yeah, Gustavo, sorry for the interruption. And the sense of send a message to the students, then making mistakes is part of the learning process. So, and it's correct, it's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? This is not the right moment for me as a teacher to focus on accuracy. This is not the moment of the class for me to correct my students, because this is not my idea. What I'm trying to share here is that to validate your contributions. And I have no right to tell you, Paula, that your contribution is wrong, because I don't know what connections you were making to your reality, to your context, to your prior knowledge for you to come up with that. That's why I will validate it. And if there's something wrong, trust me, I will not correct it now. I will go back to that concept at some point in the class, but not now, because now I want to make everybody feel that, hey, I can make my contribution. Jaime, you were raising your hands.
Yes, just a reminder for the students we have from Bolivia, Argentina, and Peru. Feel free to make a question or a comment. Do not think that because of what Gustavo just is explaining. No, just to make sure, Gustavo. Everybody knows that you are just explaining, but Eliel, thank you. But if you feel that you want to say something, because the students' opinions here are really much more important, I guess.
Mistakes are proof that you are trying, so they are welcome.
Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you, Gustavo.
Yeah, yes, Rush, you were about to say something, right?
I just wanted to mention what you just asking us to do is, it invites us to look at what is my intention. Is my intention to just open up and engage with the students, or is my looking for fishing for the right answer?
Exactly. I love what you say, because for me, the end goal of communication has to do very much with the intention you have to convey certain things, right? The aim of communication is to bond, to link, to connect, right? And that's my intention. And you said something about engagement, Rush, and I loved it that you used the word, because you know that based on research, it's very difficult to motivate our students. Yeah, and you know that motivation can be divided into external motivation and internal motivation. According to research, which one do you think is higher, external motivation or internal motivation?
I would say internal.
Intrinsic motivation. Exactly. Intrinsic motivation accounts for 85%, whereas extrinsic motivation only 15%. So if my intention is to motivate you all, honestly, I will fail. So what I'm trying to do here is, instead of motivating you, I'm trying to engage you in the activities so you can find your own intrinsic motivation. I can make a connection with this picture of a bridge based on what I think or what I feel. And now this is a different thing. I am appealing to your intrinsic motivation, right? Yeah, thank you, Tito. Internal motivation is key, is a key driver of our conduct. I couldn't agree more with that. So thank you very much. So my picture of a bridge, and Paula, what you said is it has to do very much with my idea, is the idea to connect. So this is my metaphor for lifelong learning and CPD. This is where we are now. And on the other end of the bridge, right, is where we want to go. This is where we are and where we want to go. The bridge itself, right, is how we are going to get there. How we are going to get there. And those are the instances of professional development. So let me share with you my CPD and ZPD correlation. Yes, and I have to bring up Vygotsky here. Yes, that of course everybody's familiar with. Do you remember Vygotsky's concept of ZPD?
Zone of proximate development.
Yes, Tito, thank you very much. Vygotsky, yeah, talking about how students reach their goals, meet their goals, said that there are things that we can do and things that we cannot do. In the middle, as you can see here in the picture, there's the zone of proximal development, that area that the student will have to cross, right, in order to reach, yeah, and to meet the things that they cannot do. So based on this framework, I thought this can perfectly apply to my idea of continuing professional development. So instead of things that I can do, I can think of things I have done, and in things I cannot do, what do you think? Things I haven't done. Things I have done and things I haven't done.
And that I will learn to do.
Exactly, the things that I will learn to do. So who was saying, who said that?
Beatriz.
Beatriz, thank you, Beatriz, because what you're saying bears a very close connection to my idea of incompleteness here on this framework, because I think that something is missing. And the missing part is the word yet. Things I haven't done yet. And this yet changes completely my view of the things that I haven't done. And here, I cannot help but mentioning Carol Dweck and the power of yet. Have you heard guys of Carol Dweck?
No.
No.
Carol Dweck.
I only heard one of the tech talks that she had.
Yes, yeah. Irma, yes, thank you. She has a fantastic TED talk called The Power of Yet. The Power of Yet. Yes, Rosemary, I see that you're miming something, and she's the author of a book called Mindsets. And she has this idea of growth mindsets that I can perfectly apply to this idea of CPD, continuing professional development. You know, but let me briefly share with you what she did with the power of yet. She conducted a research study in a high school in Chicago, yeah? And when we evaluate our students, we have two grades, passing or failing. So you pass or you fail. Well, in her study with this school, she made the failing grade disappear, and instead of failing the students, the grade was not yet, not yet. And this not yet activated something in the brain that makes the students want to try harder. Because when the students got the fail, they say, okay, that's it, I fail. But if you tell the students not yet, yeah, that opens another door. Say, hey, if I try a little harder, I can get there. Yes, I strongly recommend watching, yeah, this talk, The Power of Yet. And if you can get the book, yeah, Mindsets, right? It's a kind of fantastic book for us educators to take into account, The Power of Yet. But I am bringing Carol Dweck here because I can make a very strong connection to a quote she used in the book. And she said, in a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to reveal my weaknesses if I admit that I don't know how to do something, you say, wow, hey, here's a chance to grow. And I love this idea of turning our weaknesses into learning opportunities. And I think that's the key part of continuing professional development. Not seeing the things we haven't done yet as something that we lack, but as a chance to grow. What? Sorry. Who was talking? Yeah, sorry.
It's like assigning ourselves an expiry date.
I love that, Edison. Yeah.
Yeah, because as you said before, some teachers have, some professionals have the expiry date on the diploma. Once they graduate, that's the end of every other development. So that's the expiring date.
Yeah, let me stop sharing this a little minute and just have a look at you. Guys, we are so much more that qualification and a just of certification on a piece of paper. We are so much more, right? So this idea of CPD, I mean, my invitation is not to attend courses only because of the certification. It's because we're gonna benefit from it, yes? Benefit from it. And here, we are 60 people I can see now, and I don't know that many people who are watching us on Facebook. We are investing our time, yes, without expecting any certificate in return.
But Gustavo, sorry to interrupt, but you would be surprised to know how many people ask, is there gonna be a certificate? But first they ask, do I have to pay? And I say, no, it's fully free. And then they say, is there a certificate? I don't answer, because if I answer, I'm going to write, you know what. But it's incredible, right? Sorry, Gustavo.
Yeah. And sometimes people get happy with a kind of attendance certificate, right? That doesn't prove anything, right? Because learning is just for us, and it's for life. And as Edison, you were very well saying, there is an a due date on our certificates. Mauricio has just shared the link to the TED Talk on the chat box. Thank you, Mauricio, for you to have access to the talk. So that's why I think that based on what, basing my ideas on what Carol Dweck is saying, right? I can tell you that CPD is not just a challenge. CPD is a must. And here, I want to show you that it is within our reach. So it's not just a challenge, it's a must. And I'm sure it is within our reach. So guys, have you started considering your options for CPD? If the answer is not yet, well, let me tell you something. Being here at these international English online meetings hosted by Jaime and Kahima Alama is your first step. Is your first step.
Thank you for mentioning my mother's last name.
Okay, but Jaime, this is who you are.
Thanks a lot. Finally, somebody understands the power of your father's and mother's last name.
Yeah.
Some people say, why?
But guys, do you remember the name of my presentation? Teachers as lifelong learners, going the extra mile. So I'm going to pose this question to you. How can we go the extra mile? Because we are already good teachers, right? So how can we go the extra mile, right? So let's see if I can share with you something that I have adapted from Richards and Farrell from 2005, activities for teacher development. Can we brainstorm activities for teacher development? And I want you to see if you can share something on your mics.
Training sessions, workshops, seminars.
Sessions, workshops, okay.
Attending webinars.
Probably going for an extra training in a college level. Like if you have a bachelor, you can go to a master's.
Exactly.
Peer work, sharing experiences.
Sharing
about education.
Sharing what we have learned, sharing what we know with other teachers.
Sharing with yes, this way of sharing would be done through teaching portfolios, doing actual research, peer coaching and mentoring, peer observation, and then we have one last column, which is team teaching. For me, that's very important. Team teaching, case studies, teacher support groups, and communities of learning, like ZIGs. Are you all familiar with ZIGs?
One important thing is to apply for the scholarships on speaking different countries where English is spoken as a mother language. That is a very good idea for teacher development.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Immersion in a different
going on an immersion program, immersion courses, right? Yes, and there are plenty of opportunities, but I don't know, maybe we need to start small. For example, invest in our time in attending this kind of free of charge webinars, yes? Because this, what we are doing here, we are creating a community of learning, where we have access to interacting with people from, mostly from Latin America, but then we have somebody, Raj from Canada, I don't know, then the rest, we're all from Latin America, I guess. Do we have anybody from Mexico?
We usually have people from Mexico, but not today. But you know what,
right?
Gustavo? This is our 5th month on the air. 5th month.
Yeah.
And we are going up till December.
Wow, that's great.
And there are lots of people, really.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, in Bolivia, I know that you have the teachers associations, right? And maybe you can create your own SIGs, special interest groups. Are you having IATEFL? Yeah, the special interest groups in IATEFL. Do you belong to any of these SIGs?
Yes.
Or have you ever participated?
Personally,
yes,
I do. I work with Special Internacional. Yep.
Okay, TISO has also special interest groups. Glenda, I saw you raising your hands. Great.
Yes,
great.
I am in charge of the Learner Autonomy SIG.
Yeah, you have ASOCOPI in Colombia, right? ASOCOPI in Colombia, exactly. Okay, so there are many opportunities for teacher development. And you know what, guys? I love this idea. Let me go back to the presentation, to the idea of peer mentoring. Peer mentoring, the idea of working together with our peers. For me, this is, we can develop mentoring programs at our language schools, and that would be activities for teacher development. So guys, who benefits from CPD? Who benefits from CPD? Look at the very inner circle here. The individual, the teacher, of course. But do you think that the teacher is the only person benefiting from CPD?
No.
Of course not. No. Our students, do that. I remember, let me share with you something, an experience. When I started teaching many years ago, I wanted to participate of one of the biggest conferences in my country. And the owner of the language school where I was teaching did not allow me to go without getting a discount in my salary, because I needed to skip 2 working days. And I pay attention to that inner voice that said, no, I mean, this is very important for you. You should keep paying attention to that voice. And I said, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. And I decided to go, and I quit. I quit. Yeah.
Very good.
And and then when I saw, that was my first FAAPI conference, and that blew my mind, because I got to know people like Jeremy Harmer, and today we are friends with Eli. Well, you know that we have a very close relationship with Jeremy. I got to know Herbert Puchta, and now, I mean, every time we get together, it's like those big names that I met at that conference, I mean, are the ones that I can have a cup of coffee with, when I travel for a conference. And so, you see, I followed that inner voice that told me, this is the way. Of course, the owner of the institute told me, okay, so please, reconsider that, because now I see that you're investing money in going to that conference will benefit the students, because you will come up with very new ideas, very, I mean, many ideas that I hadn't had access to. Until,
because some people consider that as an expense and not an investment.
Exactly, and I think that professional development is not only money, but it's time investment. So not only does the teacher benefit, but also the student and the learner. And of course, who else will benefit from CPD? The institution. And if the institution gets a benefit, of course, the ELT profession will benefit, because maybe with your professional development opportunities, then you can become a trainer and you can start sharing what you learned in one of those teacher development instances. So all in all, guys, I think that everybody benefits from CPD, the whole community. That is something that we cannot neglect. CPD is a must, not just a challenge, as I said before, right? So the professional development that makes the most, right? That makes the most, according to Catherine Walter and Jessica Briggs, right? Involves, listen to this, is concrete and classroom-based. We can start small, doing research in our own classroom practices. Brings in expertise from outside the school. Involves teachers in the choice of areas to develop and activities to undertake. Enables teachers to work collaboratively with peers, something that you have already mentioned. Provides opportunities for mentoring and coaching, the one that I really highlighted. Is sustained over time. Instances of professional development are not like, for example, okay, today I attend this webinar and that's it. No, it has to be sustained over time. Is supported by effective school leadership, right? And taking these 7 factors into account, I think we need to start shaping our idea of how we will benefit from CPD. Guys, I have been talking for a long time, so it's time for a brain break. I don't know if you're familiar with brain breaks, but I've learned the importance of brain breaks, right? In helping the brain have a kind of a recess from the theory, from what we have been doing for, in my case, more than 30 minutes. So I'm gonna ask you to do a visual and breathing break. And I'm gonna show you some blue dots moving crazily back and forth. Yeah, can you see them all like crazily moving back and forth? Well, I'm gonna invite you to take slow breaths in and out. And after some time, you will see that the dots follow your breathing. So they will move one way when you breathe in slowly and move the other way when you breathe out slowly. Let's see if you can give it a try. Let's breathe in slowly. Is it working?
Yes, it is.
Can you manipulate the movement of the dots?
Yeah, I stopped them.
Oh my God, that was magic. That was magic. Yeah.
That was really magic. Mine are still going.
yeah, because mine don't stop. I can make them move one way or the other, but they don't stop, right? Guys, this exercise has nothing to do with the content of my presentation, but I have given your brains 20 more minutes, of oxygen to keep them the highest number of neurons activated to keep paying attention for the content to follow. And when you are like teaching, I mean, you can do like a TPR activities, or maybe puedo hablar en español ahora y empiezo a hablar en español, and this is not something that you were expecting, and that was like a slap on your biological brain, so, and that forces you to pay attention, to switch, and to move away from the path of the presentation. And now, you have a little bit more energy, to keep paying attention to the rest of the presentation. So guys, let me show you this quote here. According to researchers, success in college and adult life depends as much on as on. Can you make a wild guess on what may appear on these blank spaces? According to researchers, success in college and adult life depends as much on as on. What do you think?
Curiosity?
Motivation, maybe one?
Motivation, maybe valid. I'm validating your answer. I'm not saying right or wrong, valid.
Curiosity.
Motivation. Curiosity. I love that idea of curiosity because who said curiosity?
Rush.
Rush. I love that because curiosity is essential to develop an inquiry-based approach in our classes, because when students are curious, they develop questions more than answers. They want to learn about something, and they learn by asking questions. So when they come up with a question, they will be more willing, more intrinsically motivated to finding the answers. Yeah. So
the level of challenge. The level of challenge.
Okay, great. Let me stop here for a minute. Edison, you hit the nail on the head here. The level of challenge. What happens when, because I agree 100% with what he says. What happens when the students are presented with a challenge that is too high? How do they feel?
Dismotivating.
They feel very frustrated out of demotivation. And according to research, it's easier to demotivate people than to motivate. It's easier to demotivate than to motivate. Let's be careful with that. So if the challenge is too high, frustration. What happens if the challenge is too low?
Losing interest whatsoever.
Losing interest. They get bored. So between boredom and demotivation as well. Mercedes, Mechi, oh my God. Mechi, she's chatting, she's adding something on the chat book. She's one of my good friends from Pergamino, my hometown. Nice to see you here. So demotivation kicks in either if it is boredom or frustration. So we need to to strike a balance. And I recommend using Csikszentmihalyi's idea of flow, getting the students enter into a state of flow. Csikszentmihalyi is one of the fathers of positive psychology, which I'll mention in a few couples of slides more, right? Okay, so we need to find a balance, Edison, between boredom and frustration, right? And demotivation in both cases. Great. So what you're saying here, just to complete this quote, is that according to researchers, success in college and adult life depends as much on
adaptation,
self-control, and other social and emotional abilities as on traditional academic skills. Most of our academic or continuing professional development opportunities focus on traditional academic skills. But I think we need to go beyond that, because research will just prove that self-control and other social and emotional abilities are essential. So teachers are important adults in children's scholastic lives. And there is some evidence that teacher well-being, at least indirectly, has significant effects on children's social, emotional adjustment and academic performance. So, guys, I think it's very, very important to start considering SEL. Have you ever seen this acronym, SEL? S-E-L?
No.
SEL stands for social and emotional learning. And social and emotional learning, according to KSEL organization, is the process through which children and adults, listen to this, acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. Make responsible decisions. Pay attention to these key elements of a definition of self and start considering how important they are for our well-being and the well-being of our students. So I cannot conceive the idea of CPD if I don't incorporate a big amount of social and emotional learning. Because most of the time we focus on IQ. Remember, everybody knows about IQ, intelligent quotient. I think that now EQ is becoming as important as IQ. EQ, and that stands for?
Emotional.
Yes, who said it? Yes,
emotional quotient. Emotional.
Roxana, yes, yeah. Emotional quotient. And let me make an aside here. I strongly believe that not only should we focus on IQ and EQ, but on CQ. And CQ is the cultural quotient. I think this is very, very important. And why am I mentioning this here? Because for many years, many people my age, maybe the young generation here may not understand this, yes, with this idea that, I don't know, my training as a teacher, as a student was RP, received pronunciation, and you should imitate British English, blah, 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 blah. And you know what, guys, and I'm gonna be very honest here, I am very proud of my Argentinian accent speaking English, because this is who I am. Yes, I don't want to sound American or British or from Canada or from New Zealand, because this is not me. I want to become the best possible model for my students, but celebrating and embracing my bilingual identity. This is who I am. Yeah, and I invite you to celebrate your bilingual identity with your Peruvian accent, with your Ecuador accent.
With my Purano accent.
With your, yeah, because when you talk about, yeah, but when you talk about Pura accent, sorry, when I say Peruvian accent, what accent am I talking about? From Trujillo, from Pura, from Lima,
from Chiclayo,
from Trujillo.
Yeah, from Trujillo, Glenda. So the thing is that something that is very important for me is to help our students celebrate and embrace their bilingual identity and start focusing on not English with a capital E anymore, but talking about Englishes. And I cannot help but mentioning the concept of glocalization. You might have heard me say this before, or you might have seen the word glocalization. Have you heard it before? Have you seen it somewhere?
First time, Gustavo.
Well,
Gustavo.
Yes, Beatriz?
No, Vanessa speaking. That yeah. I tell my students that we are teachers of a foreign language. We are not natives. That is okay to make mistakes. Of course, we have to master skills, but cultural, the must.
Okay, I agree with you, Vanessa, and this has to do with what Elizabeth was saying at the beginning, that we learn by making mistakes. So in the past, teachers, when I started teaching,
we suffered.
We suffered a lot because we didn't have everything at hand as you all millennials have, right? The ones here. And I remember not coming to terms with not being able to understand the lyrics of a song when I wanted to work with listening comprehension. That was sitting down for hours, jotting down and writing down the lyrics of what I thought I understood.
And using a cassette.
And using a cassette, Beatriz, exactly. And you know what happened to me? I couldn't face my students and tell them, sorry, I didn't understand this phrase. And you know what I did? I lied to them. because I couldn't
Gustavo,
admit.
did you lie to your students?
Yeah, because my old
Oh
school.
my goodness.
No,
Gustavo.
yes, that's why I am just telling you this, because my old
because we
school.
couldn't fail as
So
teachers.
did I, so do I, and so we
were
lie.
we were told not to fail, you know?
Exactly. So I couldn't find the way to tell myself, no, I didn't understand, because I had been taught that I had to be like a walking dictionary. No, I am a human being, a non-native teacher of English who learned English the same way you are doing, so we can learn together, right? Irma, yes, you're raising your hand. Would you like to share something with us?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt.
But I saw you.
That's okay. But what you are just saying about the globalization, the respect and the proudness that we should all feel, because yes, we are capable of communicating with others using English, but at the same time, we do have and have kept our own identity.
Yes.
I think that's the bottom line, and what it's the most important thing, what you just said. But also when you were mentioning all the different processes, strategies, and techniques that we, the old people, used to have when we were young, decades ago, when we were learning, that's exactly why we'd never have to stop learning and attending to different alternatives of training. Because yes, when I was 21, I got my certificate, but hey, even though I'm retiring from teacher, and yes, I'm retired from teaching elementary and high school, I'm still active because I'm teaching on college level. That means that I should be up to date of what's going on, and especially if we should not frustrate our students, we should be aware of what's going on, what are the needs of the new generations, what are not only the technological, gadgets or whatever, but if we really want to create activities that are meaningful for them, that means that are important for them, important to them.
Excellent.
Not for me. So, okay.
Thank you for saying this. Thank you for saying this, because I think it's extremely important. And yes, this idea of, CPD all the time, right? Yes. And I agree with you. Gabriela was saying something about a student, I couldn't read it. And the important thing about CQ is that sometimes our students ask, teacher, we may understand the lyrics of a song, but we may not understand the culture underneath those phrases. That's why I think it's very important to connect the IQ, EQ, and CQ all together. And from this question that I was talking about, globalization is a portmanteau. It's a crossword between global and local. From my locality, I'm gonna go global. That's my globalization. And I think it's very important that we start thinking of this acronym EFL, English as a foreign language, could be something totally different if we think of ELF, English as a lingua franca. Yeah, instead of EFL, English as a foreign language, which is what we usually do, yeah, we need to pave the way for students to start managing ELF, English as a lingua franca, where English would be the means to help them communicate effectively. And this is something personal. I never tell my students, my students say, I never tell them, I want you to be perfect learners of English. I never said that. But I tell them, I want you to be effective users of English. I want you to be effective users of English. And you know what? That change of words helps them say, hey, I am using the language. I am using the language effectively. I can communicate. And trust me, I am the best example, because as Jaime was saying at the very beginning, I've been lucky to travel the world, and I have communicated with people from all different cultures where English is not their language one. And we were able to communicate celebrating our bilingual identity and with our accents. So I think, yes, Rosemary, here you're talking about communicative competence. Exactly. Just helping the students develop autonomy to be competent communicators, competent users of the language. Thank you very much. Yes.
Gustavo, this is Beatriz from Bolivia. May I
ask
you a question and add a comment? This makes me think of something that I've heard last year. Somebody mentioned, what do we do with this idea that when we're teaching English, we should just use English and we should not use Spanish? And when you were speaking, that reminded me that I am terrible at speaking Spanish. My Spanish is not exactly academic, and I make mistakes when, you know, I've been speaking Spanish for 52 years and I'm still learning and I'm still making mistakes. I've been learning English since I was 13 years old, and I would say I know a little bit more about English, and I still make mistakes and I'm still learning. So this idea that we cannot have a perfect model, but a perfect model of ourselves, that we have to improve ourselves. Okay. So what do you think of this idea of connecting the two languages and the two cultures together?
Well, if you allow me, I'm asking permission to the rest just to make an aside here, because I think it's a very interesting question. And I think that because I've been doing a lot of CPD, what the latest investigations on this are like allowing, let's put it like this, the use of language one to teach a foreign language. I have been asked to teach Spanish because it's my language one, and I said no, because I don't know what the methodology is to teach my language, the language that I master, right? I am not a teacher of Spanish. I know how to teach English, but even though I am a fluent and maybe efficient native speaker of Spanish, that doesn't allow me to teach it because I wouldn't know how to, right? But I think, and this is my personal view, Beatriz, that in order to help students scaffold and make connections to new learning, they need a peg on which to hang new learning, like the clothing. And the closest peg they have is language one. Yeah, and here I'm going to resort to thank you, Esther. Translanguaging.
Translingualism.
Yes, Edison. Thank you very much. But I need to mention here one of my colleagues and friends, Paul Seligson. Paul Seligson says that we have. He insists on using a kind of a Latino-friendly pedagogy. And I can say this because most of us here are from Latin America. And what Paul says about using a Latino-friendly pedagogy, I think is that if you don't want to expose your students to Spanish, what you can do is expose them to words in English that bear a very close connection to English. For example, one of the examples that Paul says is, I can't put up with this weather anymore. I can't put up with this weather anymore. The students will not understand what put up with means. So teacher, what did you say? And then the teacher will rephrase himself, say, I can't tolerate this weather anymore. What happens? Tolerate is a cognate, which is very similar to tolerar, right? So instead of using put up with as a first option, why don't you use those cognates, which between English and Spanish account for 60%, yeah? And provide the students with opportunities of exposure to the target language, right? Yeah, in this, this idea of exposing the students to language too. Yeah, but I use Spanish a lot in my classes, Beatriz, and I can see how they learn, how they make connections, and this is something that is personal. Depending on the level of the students and depending on the age, if I have to explain grammar, I never explain grammar in English because that is extra pressure for the students. I am not preparing teachers to be. I want them to learn how to master the structure, not to how to explain it in English. And trust me, I save a lot of time. And that has been very effective to me. But again, we have to take into account the context and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I'm not against using language. I don't overdo it. But whenever it will help me save time and save energy, I will use it. If not, I will use cognates. Yeah? Not false friends. Right? And things like that. So that was my aside. Yeah? So let me go back to see if I can just get to the end of the presentation because this became really rich and we can have a Q&A at the end. So talking about SEL, guys, right? The social and emotional learning framework is made up of 5 core competencies, which I am not going to explore, but I will just share them with you here for you to do your own research if you're interested. Self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness, and self-awareness. These are the 5 key components to start using a SEL approach, a social and emotional learning approach to our teaching. So guys, this is what I want to focus on now. Self-care and wellness as a way of advocating lifelong learning as part of CPD. Handling stress effectively. Yes, amidst this pandemic, guys, we have become like superheroes. We have to transform our traditional way of teaching overnight, right? And that was very stressful at the very beginning. And it was very difficult to get people engaged when we weren't even engaged because we were just learning and we learn by trial and error. So we need to learn how to handle stress effectively. We need to avoid teacher burnout, yeah? And we need to find ways to do things that will help us, yeah, disconnect and get unplugged. And one of the most important things is to nurture our family and friend relationships. Nurture our relationships. Valuing our friendships. They are essential in helping us in this idea of wellness or well-being. Empathy, empathizing with ourselves and our peers and admitting, I'm doing my best, I'm doing what I can, yeah? I need to find a way of not trying to be perfect, but trying to be effective in what I do in online teaching. Taking care of our voice. I don't know if you have realized that teaching to the screen is making us make an extra effort with our voice, yeah, and stuff like that. And this is one of our number 1 tools for our profession. Sleeping well enough. And I'm gonna stop here. How many hours do you sleep, guys? How many hours do you sleep on average?
6, 5, 7,
6.
You sleep 7, I envy you.
Okay, most of us sleep from 6 to 7 hours, if you're lucky. Yeah, but I think that, and this is very important, if you're teaching teenagers, their brains, the prefrontal lobes of teenagers are still developing. And they need to have 8 hours of sleep for them to have a kind of appropriate amount of time, the right amount of time. And sleeping well is essential. Maybe our brains at an adult age are used to working effectively with 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep. It's not the ideal thing, but we can manage. But in the long run, yeah, it's not gonna be healthy. Having healthy eating habits also helps. Respecting our leisure time is very important. Having a sense of gratitude and Jaime, you started with this at the very beginning of this webinar, when you started being grateful and being thankful and embracing and celebrating who we are. I think these ideas that I'm sharing with you here are very important to start paying attention to and start developing a little bit more in depth. Why? Because Martin Seligman, which is another, what? Are you talking to me? No, maybe, no, I heard the voice. Martin Seligman is the author of a book on happiness, but even Seligman himself, with this question of CPD and researching and investigating, then went on and went beyond the book, and he said that in his latest book, it's not just about human happiness, but human flourishing. And Martin Seligman himself broadened his own study of authentic happiness into calling it well-being, because he also discovered that the group of people who had these characteristics I'm going to be sharing with you now, were also healthier and lived longer than people who had fewer of these 5 factors present in their lives. So he developed in his research the PERMA model for flourishing. The PERMA model for flourishing. And the PERMA is an acronym, and the P stands for positive emotions. We need to develop positive emotions because these will help us feel good. Yet, if you feel good, you can make other people feel good as well. The letter E stands for engagement, is what I think what Rush and Irma mentioned today. Engagement is helping the students find flow because they feel that they're up to the challenge, because they find meaning and relevance in what they are doing. Then the letter R stands for relationships. Creating, building authentic connections with people. Not just like temporary things, but authentic, strong bonds. What about the letter M? Meaning. We all need to find meaning in what we do, have a purposeful existence. It's Sunday, guys. What are we doing on a Sunday at noon here or in the morning, investing your time in attending this webinar? Is because we find meaning in what we do. Maybe this is not a job. Teaching is not a job for us. At least it's not a job for me. It's one of my passions. And so as I find meaning in what I do, everything flows in my life. And the last one, the A, is achievement. We need to find a sense of achievement in whatever we do. So the PERMA model consists of 5 elements. Let me see if you can go through them very quickly. What does the P stands for? P. Let me see if
positive
you remember.
Emotions. Positive emotions.
Positive emotions, Paula. Thank you very much. What about the E?
Engagement.
Then the letter R was for
relationships.
What about the M?
Meaning.
And the last one, the letter A?
Achievement.
I recommend watching a talk on TED Talk. Mauricio, maybe you can find it share the link here, by Robert Wallinger. And the name of the talk is What Makes a Good Life. Robert Wallinger is one of the 4th generations of researchers for Harvard University, and they have been conducting the longest investigation on happiness. It has been running for 75 years and counting. Yes, it's the longest study on happiness conducted from Harvard University, right? And one of the most important courses by Yale University is the science of happiness. Well, you know what one of his most important findings was that relationship is the key factors for healthy and happy lives. Relationship. It's not money, it's not fame, it's not popularity.
Yeah. Gracias, Tomás.
Yeah, so I recommend watching this fantastic talk, yeah, what makes a good life, right? And investigate or do your own research a little bit on this study.
Hello.
Thank you,
Gustavo?
thank you. Yes.
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, that's me, it's George. Hi
George,
there. You know,
yeah.
Yep.
George, yeah.
Jorge, listen,
Jorge.
I love your passion. You know, you really come out and you can see the humanity in you because, you know, teaching is about being human. And in the business that we're in, it's we have to redefine language as a human factor. And all of these, you know, attributes and features that you have brought out, like social, emotional learning, they are part. Learning cannot be, there cannot be effective learning in a learning organization when the human factor has been omitted. And for generations, unfortunately, we have been industrialized in the classroom from the very moments, you know, going back to, you know, to the industrial age. And we're still seeing those remnants within our classrooms, where you see rows still being a part of the classroom, where you see the teacher still taking that managerial role of being in front of a class and lecturing, whereas there is no humanity in it when there is no social interaction between the students to engage in the language. And so it's still that 1 to 30 ratio. You know, we're still seen as not as facilitators, but as dictatorial within the classroom, a know-it-all. And so students cannot become lifelong learners because we are not role modeling that. We are still, and then when we look at English, we are still teaching English as if, you know, from the colonial age, because we were colonized. I mean, you know, Britain and the United States have kind of colonized or globalized the world with the language. And so now we try to emulate and want to be or you know, have this American accent or a British accent. And if we don't emulate that, then we have not learned, we don't feel that we have learned English enough. Yeah. So that's where, you know, languaging, you know, translanguaging allows that, because we need to, the humanization of language has to occur in order for us to be able to improve our teaching of the language and becoming more human within the classroom. Yeah, okay. And every attribute that you have placed is based on human attributes.
Okay, yeah. So, I really appreciate what you're saying. Let me make 2 points here. There's also a cultural ingredient here, because in some cultures, people expect to be lectured. Yeah, in some countries in Asia, they expect to be lectured. And if there is too much interaction, they don't feel that they are learning. So we also need to respect some aspects of culture. And wait a minute, I have to admit somebody here. But I think that what you're saying is very important, because we as teachers need to open the door to helping students become lifelong learners. And for many teachers, we need to come to terms with a new concept developed by Dr. John Moravec and by Dr. Cristóbal Cobo from Chile, both researchers at Harvard. And they are the authors of a book called Invisible Learning. And they came up with the concept of nomad society. Let me write it in the chat box. Let me see if I can put it here. Nomad society, yeah, which is another portmanteau. It's a combination of knowledge and nomad society. And the point is that today, millennials and centennials, yeah, are going to become nomadic workers. And what do they mean? They learn anytime, anywhere, from anybody. They don't come to class to learn the content from the teacher, because with this idea of immediacy, they have a question, they go and Google it. So what we have to do is to make the content meaningful and relevant, as you, Irma, you were mentioning today. The content itself is not appealing anymore. And honestly, teachers, the content that we are teaching today has nothing to do with the pandemic times we are going through. So they don't find relevance in what they are doing. So we need to find a way to make our online lessons more human. As Jorge, you are very well saying, we are the ones, let's play the role of awakeners. Let's give them the possibility. Let's awake that by opening the door that you very well said, Jorge, not many teachers are doing. Paula, I see you're raising your hand.
Hi, I'm going to be very quick. Aside from being an English teacher, I am a mom of 3. And my eldest son has Asperger's syndrome. And he has been my motivation, because I see that most of the teachers just go with the flow, but they teach content void of content. Do you know what I mean? And my son learns in another way. My son learns in another way. And it has pushed me to be a better, not only mom, but a better teacher, because he made me understand that he needs different things. And if my own son needs different things, what makes me think that my other students won't need them? And many years ago, I was still living in Buenos Aires. I live in a small town in a province in Córdoba. I met Gustavo and I met Lucrecia Pratgai, and they opened my eyes. And I'm not just saying this in a light way. They opened my eyes. And I am 42 now. I'm living in a small town. This pandemic has finally made me realize that schools are not working, in Argentina at least. The educational system is not working, at least for my son and for many others. And that's why I am investing my time on a Sunday morning learning all this, because I want my kids to have a better opportunity. And I'm just dreaming about opening my own school with all this. And you know, it's so important.
I really appreciate what you're sharing with us, Paula, something very private, something very personal, because as a teacher, I have never been taught how to teach students with special needs. And what I see that if I don't do my own CPD, I will have no access to this, right?
Yes,
that's why
I am a teacher trainer at my local teacher training course, and I give grammar. And you know why? And I give didactics too, but when I give grammar, sometimes I stop sharing the content, and I speak to them, and I teach them, and I show them how to work with students with special needs, because I haven't been taught either. I had to learn. I started learning 15 years ago when Juan, my son, came to my life. And I'm still learning as a mom and as a teacher.
Well, and you know what, Paula, I think that what this has to do with experiential learning. What Kolb, would call in his research experiential learning. We learn by doing, by being exposed to it. Guys, Jaime has just shown me that I have only 5 minutes left. Would you bear 10 minutes or 15 just to round out the presentation? I'm gonna go fast.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Take your time.
Sorry.
Take your time.
No worries.
Something that we can do is
Jorge and everyone else, please let the speaker talk. Let's give him the time he needs, and let's not make long comments because of the time. I usually ask the speakers for just 1 hour and 30 minutes because they have other things to do. So that's why let's appreciate that. Thank you very much, Gustavo.
Thank you. So something that you can put into practice is...
Gustavo, may I make one point very quickly? Paula raised an issue when we label students as they have learning disability. We need to look at what is my inability to teach the student.
Rush, okay, that's very important. The other day I was running a webinar and somebody wrote in my personal Facebook telling me, I loved your presentation, but I am blind and I lost many of the things you shared. And I realized that all my presentation had been focused on visual aids. And I realized that I had not been helping that vision impairing student, participants. And you know what? She shared some links with me, and I started doing my own research on how to teach English to the visually impaired. Yeah, because I realized that I saw my not yet ability to teach the visually impaired. Okay? So thank you for bringing that up, because we all have our own limitations, not because we want to, because we had never been given the possibility to explore. Now everybody's talking about students teaching English for students with special needs. Yeah? This did not exist 25 years ago. Yeah? And so that thing is very important to keep on doing professional development. So guys, just something for you to do an exercise. Let's see if you're flourishing at work. Flourishing at work. This is a kind of something that you can just take into account. Where am I getting it now, and where I need some more? No, I'm not having a good relationship with my peers. I'm not flourishing at the language school where I teach. What can I do to improve this? And then of course, we can move this to our life. Are you flourishing outside of work? And let me share with you a model that I hope you can implement it in your life, which is the wheel of life. The wheel of life is a model, right, in which you are presented with these different, like, I don't know, items, money and finance, career and work, health and fitness, and you are supposed to assess or self-assess your level of satisfaction in those areas, in those domains. 1 being not satisfied at all, and 10 being highly satisfied. So you have to connect the lines to form an inner wheel. And this will give you an overview of the level of satisfaction in your life, a visual clue of the level of satisfaction in your life. For example, something like this. You see the inner wheel inside this wheel of life? What I do with my students, or sometimes in some training sessions when I do talk about well-being, and Monica last weekend was fabulous talking about well-being. Monica Rodriguez Alvo, a friend of mine. Yes, you can delete these areas and you can add your own areas, the ones that are meaningful to you. Yeah, and like this, what is the next step? You should analyze this wheel of life, like by selecting a life domain from the wheel, one that calls your attention. We say, "Epa, wow," and analyze this. Why does this domain need attention? What would it take to raise my satisfaction by just 1 score on this particular domain? And what can I do to raise my satisfaction level in this particular domain? This is a fantastic tool, the Wheel of Life, to help you visually see your level of satisfaction, yeah, and see what you can do about it. Take the leads, yeah, and start doing action, taking action and doing something about it. Not taking a sit and wait attitude to see what can happen. No, it's let's make things happen to see if I can explore and reach a higher level of satisfaction. So guys, metaphorically speaking, if CPD was the ocean, and you can see there my foot and me doing some snorkeling in Bora Bora, if CPD was the ocean, are you just dipping your toe in, or are you swimming in the ocean? Are you taking baby steps into CPD, or you're already immersed in the continuing professional development opportunities? So let me finish with a metaphor, yeah, related to this. And it's this picture here. Do you like this picture? Isn't it beautiful?
Love it. Love it. It is beautiful.
Beautiful. This is a picture that I took in Morea, one of the islands in Bora Bora, an island next to Bora Bora in the French Polynesia. But this picture, I'm going to change it now. This made me think of this line. See the line where the sky meets the sea? It calls me. Which is a line from a song, from a movie, an animated movie. This picture is a screenshot from the movie. Isn't it similar to my picture? You see? Isn't it similar?
Yeah.
Very similar. This is a picture and this is my photograph. But both of them present us with that line. See the line where the sky meets the sea? It calls me. And this goes on like this. This is from Moana.
Yeah.
And there's a song in the movie that goes like this. See the line where the sky meets the sea? It calls me. And no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. So I couldn't help but making a connection to my idea of continual professional development. Can you find a reason why I call my presentation Teachers as Lifelong Learners Going the Extra Mile, and a connection with this picture?
There is no limit. There is no end.
There is no end. There is no end to this. There is no end to education.
There is no fear at all, because it's unexpected.
Exactly. Don't fear the unexpected. Be ready to face it and to cope with it. So let me finish by playing a song, by playing a part of this song, but not from the movie. It's a choir, a children's choir, who participated in one of these talents shows, yeah? And I took the liberty to subtitle the video, but I changed some words and some phrases to make it fit my idea of professional development. So enjoy the song, try to find the connection between the lyrics and the idea of professional development, and see that we are halfway there. Enjoy it.
I've been staring at the edge of the water long as I can remember, never really knowing why. Every turn I take, every trail I track, every path I make, every road leads back to the place I know where I cannot go, where I long to be. See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me. No telling how far I'll go. I know everybody on this island seems so happy on this island. Everything is by design. I can lead with pride. I can make satisfied by playing along. This voice inside sings a different song. What is wrong with me? So the light shines on the street. It's blinding, but no one knows how deep it goes. And it seems like it's calling out to me, so come find me and let me know what's beyond that line. When I cross that line, the line with the sky with the sea, it holds me. Not one knows how far I'll go.
Wow. So guys, if my teaching can change other people's lives, most probably professional development can change mine too. Did you enjoy the song? Isn't it moving? Isn't it touching?
Yeah.
Imagine your students saying this. So guys, be humble, be teachable, and always, always keep learning. And as I want to walk my talk, and I talked about the importance of well-being and emotional intelligence, I'm going to ask you this question. What's your takeaway from this session? And I'm going to ask you to name 3 parts of the body that start with the letter H. Can you name 3 parts of the body that start with the letter H?
Heart.
Heart.
Hand.
Oh, sorry.
Hand.
Head. Hands
Hand.
and heart. Yes. Head, hands, and heart. So from the academic perspective, the head. What have I learned today that I didn't know before? Hands, the practical parts. What will I be better at after this session? And the emotional quotient, the emotional part, the emotional element, your heart. What did I love about this webinar? Some food for thought. You don't need to say it, right? But I just consider it as your takeaway. So guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've been a great, great audience. I hope this investing your time on this webinar has been fruitful. Yeah, sorry for taking 10 more minutes of what I was planning to do. Yeah, so now if you want to stay and make some questions, yeah, Jaime, the floor is yours.
Gustavo, wonderful as always. I'm so happy to see you again. And I hope to see you in Guayaquil back and have that wonderful couple of wonderful chat that we usually have when we get together.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you very much, Ellie. Thank you very much.
First of all, Gustavo, and to all the audience, thank you so much for your presence. Sometimes I must admit, I feel tired, but when Sunday is coming, when Sunday is drawing near, I just feel like I'm going, getting the metaphor you said, I'm going to swim with my friends. I'm going to have a good day, and it's relaxing, and I learn a lot, and I feel motivated. I just want you to understand something very important, the time. If we establish 1 hour and 30 minutes, it's not because I want it, it's because I tell the speakers that they are going to have 1 hour and 30 minutes, and in Argentina, it's lunchtime, for example. But so people prepare or organize their time, and so I do, So do not feel, I don't know what the adjective is, if I just show this or this, and we must understand that time is valuable and precious for everyone. Secondly, my deep gratitude to the Peruvian students from Bolivia, Yomar, Rocio, Freddy, from Peru, my students, and from Argentina, Ernesto, Aileen, Lil, Marisa, Nicolas, Angel, Sandra, Diana, and Jeremias. Thank you for your presence. Now we have like 3 minutes for some of the students first, or Angel, for example, Jeremias, I don't know, somebody from Bolivia, Peru, or Argentina. I would like first to hear their voice, please. One of the students, Angel, thank you very much.
Oh, Angel took the lead.
Thank you for inviting. It was very interesting and very emotional with the video and all special. Thanks everybody for attending in all the topics that we hear Gustavo Gonzalez.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
thank you, Angel. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. A lady, maybe one of the students, who's a lady? A lady from Bolivia, Peru, or Argentina, one of the students? No? Okay,
No.
Yeah, Carol.
No, I'm not a student, I'm a teacher.
If they don't want to speak, they can write something on the chat box so I can read it later.
No, but I didn't think that it was telling me, because I'm from Ecuador, and it's well, I really thankful for, was a beautiful conference, because I learned a lot of how to teach my students, how to make them to learn to love the way that they are going to learn, and not just teach or share to them the subject, just to I learned how to get their hearts, the way that to get their hearts to make them to learn better.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much.
Anybody else who wants to make a brief comment? Emily Macias in Mexico.
Yes, I want to speak like a student because I want your student. I was teacher Jaime's student, so I want to say thank you. I feel very emotional now.
Oh. Thank you, Emily.
I think that I learned a lot in your class, teacher Jaime. I always remember that. Sorry.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's great listening to a new generation of voices. So, and guys, a huge message to pre-service teachers. So you have the tools you need to change the world. So you are part of a new generation of English teachers. So do your staff and swim in the ocean, just as Gustavo said.
So Elizabeth, bring some Ecuadorian students next Sunday, please.
No problem.
Thanks,
I will move my thread.
Okay.
Nice to see you.
Anybody else?
Nice to see you. Thank you, Jaime.
Yes, please. Eliel Huertas, student from Argentina. Thank you, Eliel.
Thank you so much.
We have to invite some other ones.
Yes.
Eliel?
I just wanted to add I find it very, very useful. I mean, I totally agree with all these key elements you gave us, Gustavo.
Thank you.
Thanks to you. I think it's very needed nowadays. I mean, this emotional teaching, I mean, the importance of language itself, because emotions are a language as well. I mean, social awareness, self-awareness is very important for us as students and also for teachers to be self-aware of this, and also to show it to the world. I mean, there's always something new to learn and to teach.
Thank you very much, Eliel. Now that you're saying this, let me recommend something else. Go on YouTube or TED Talks and find Poet Ali and his talk, The Language of Being Human. The Language of Being Human. Mauricio, maybe you can find it and share the link. I have already shared my Instagram account and my email address on the chat box for you to have the material. But Poet Ali talks about the language of being human. That has some connection with what Jorge was saying today, the importance of helping students be, giving them a voice. And all of us here are multilingual, because it's not just that we speak Spanish or English. We share the language of experience, and we share the language of love, and we share the language of friendship, because language is a system that you use, that is used among a community. I recommend Poet Ali. It's such a touching and moving talk, The Language of Being Human. Thank you, Mauricio. And that has to do with what Eliel, what you were saying.
Well, dear Gustavo, thank you for all the wonderful ideas like emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence, academic intelligence, motivation versus engaging, CPD and ZPD, the power of yet. It's easier to demotivate than motivate. And the most important, globalization. We are having a table, a round table. I was going to say table talk. A round table the last Sunday of October. I hope you are a little bit free to be part of this wonderful round table to help us to talk about globalization of English in Latin America. If you are free, we would appreciate your presence and your participation. We will have 9 guest speakers from Ecuador, Peru, Mexico, Bolivia, Colombia, and I don't remember where else. Thank you very much, Gustavo. Your final words for all of us.
Okay, no, my feeling of gratitude to everyone here, especially my people from Argentina. Yes, yeah, the students from Argentina and the teachers from Argentina and my friend, I don't know if Mechi is still here, Mercedes from Pergamino, Elizabeth, I saw Marina also from Argentina, and Esther here, and the people that I already know as Mauricio, well, Marisa, I hadn't seen you. Marisa from
Olenka is also here.
Olenka, Glenda. I mean, yeah, it's very nice to see very familiar faces, and all the ones that I met last Sunday, like Raj, Edison, Irma, that I met you at Monica Stowe, Jorge, you were also there. So I really appreciate. I really want to thank you, because I may have prepared this presentation, but it would have been totally useless if you hadn't participated that much, yeah? Because it was not a lecture. It was something that we built together. We all did it, yeah? And I think that's my takeaway. Your commitment to be here on a Sunday noon or a Sunday morning, yeah? Collaborating, contributing, sharing, and yeah. And I want to thank Beatriz, Nora, there was somebody else, I don't know, Emily, the ones who participated, yeah, Vanessa, Eliel, yes, everybody, Roxana, Tito also participated, Jorge, yeah, and everybody. So I hope, guys, this time investment that you used today is worth it, right? And you can take it with you forever, for life.
Well,
thank you once again.
Thank you, Gustavo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear students. And thank you, everyone. And see you next Sunday. Next Sunday, we will have Raj and Mary Scholl. Mary Scholl, are you here still? Mary Scholl? She was here.
Around.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I have my camera
Hello,
off.
Mary. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Mary.
It was wonderful. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mary.
Mary Scholl, Gustavo Gonzalez, Mary Scholl.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Fantastic.
Hey.
Nice
to see you.
Gustavo to be here next Sunday.
We should get together as soon as this pandemic is over. We should
go again.
In Ecuador, you know, in
Costa Rica.
Yes, Jaime, come to Ecuador.
First Ecuador, then Argentina, then Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, come to Costa Rica.
Colombia too.
Yeah. This is in my bucket list, Mary. It's in my bucket list going to Costa Rica.
Hello, Mariela.
See you in Canada. See you in Canada.
And finally, Canada.
Yeah, we should go to.
We should tour all South America, a tour.
Okay.
So we're gonna be doing a tour.
So see you next Sunday with Mary Scholl from Costa Rica and Raj Jill from Canada. Thanks a lot, Gustavo.
Thank
thanks
you,
everyone. Thanks all the students, and thanks the audience in Facebook Live.
Thank you.
Well, see you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you, Jaime.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Stay safe.
Thanks a lot.
Ruben, time to cook.
I've already cooked today. Today it's ready.
Where is Ruben? I miss your emoji.
I broke that record today. I cooked very early in the morning.
Just to see Gustavo.
What did you prefer?
Okay.
I prepare locro.
This is my hard one.
Very good.
Okay. As usual, nobody wants to go, Gustavo. They want to stay here.
Oh, yeah. So they flip the session at the end.
It has been a nice experience.
Thank you, Lenka. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Jaime, the picture.
I've already taken hundreds of pictures, but this is the last one. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect.
That's good.
Bye-bye. Go and cook.
Post it in the WhatsApp team, group.
Do the washing up, whatever, but do something.
Gabriela, I hadn't seen you. I didn't know you were here.
We always do something, all right?
It's the new Gabriela. Look at
Rubén, paz de Jaguar Locro.
Jaime, we can prepare like a kind of meeting so that our students can share experiences also of being students.
Of course, but
I'm willing to.
Thank you, Gustavo.
We will have.
No, thank you. I don't know your name because it's a Machivicho. What is your name?
Vinicio. I am from Ecuador.
Thank you very much.
And I have been in your city, and I have been in Argentina, and I'm studying at Rosario.
Wow, yes. Yeah, very nice city. Rosario is a very nice city.
Vanessa, we will have our first international conference of students, prospective teachers. I hope to do it. I hope to do it before Christmas.
No, you know, that's a very good idea because you're giving them the possibility to start presenting. We need new voices.
My students are ready to do it. My students are ready to do it.
Yeah, I know your students.
Thanks, Ruben. Ruben was with them. Yeah.
Ruben, paz de Jaguar Locro.
Yeah, of course. Here in Peru, we say el día del logro. I changed it for el día del locro. I changed it.
Asado here in Argentina.
Asado, sí.
Asado. My husband is already cooking. Asado.
Always, husbands always done.
Of course.
People are listening to you in Facebook.
Yes.
These are the real speakers.
Estás de Esperancito.
Well, now it's time to go. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Gustavo.
See you, Jaime.
Thank you.
Bye, Gustavo.
See you, Gustavo.
Bye, Gustavo.
See everyone.
Bye-bye, Eli.
Bye, Carol. Bye.
A virtual hug to you.
Keep safe.
Keep safe.
Come on, go.
Miss you.
Now. So
go, Elizabeth.
Gustavo, go. So.
I'm not going. I'm not.
Elizabeth, where is your husband?
Yes,
where is your husband?
My husband is doing what he has a lot of talents, but he's cooking because he's a chef. So I have no worries about.
Elizabeth, you have a Francito cooking for you.
That's why. That's why
that
you
is
got
the secret
married.
of the perfect marriage, Jaime.
That's why you
My
got
husband
married.
cooks.
I see now that.
I eat.
Eli.
Yes.
What is the name of that beautiful restaurant you took me when I was in your city? The one that was with the poets.
It was the restaurant of her husband.
No, I don't think so. You remember?
Liverpool?
He was the waiter.
It was a typical restaurant that I don't remember the writer. I don't know if it wasn't Cortázar or Garcia Marquez. I don't remember.
Julio Jaramillo.
No, come on, no.
It was a typical restaurant.
Carlitos Gardel.
No. It was in your city. No, I don't remember now.
Yeah. Neither do I, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, some of the restaurants have closed.
I have the pictures. Yeah, I have all the pictures. Beautiful.
Yeah, we had a nice tour, in fact, with Lucy.
Really?
With you, remember that you came...
in Ecuador with Lucy?
Yes. You came with...
with Oxford. I was there with Oxford University Press.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
Anyways.
I have to cook.
The thing is that we have good memories. We are great.
Yeah, on the best. Yeah.
I have to do the washing up.
Gracias, Marisa. Gracias por venir. Gracias, Olenka. Gracias a todos.
Un abrazo. Un abrazo a todos. Nos vemos pronto.
Nos vemos. Abrazos.
Finally, my goodness.
Vengan a vernos. Jaime, nos debes una visita en Ecuador.
Ahí estaré, Mavicho. Ahí estaré con tus amigas de, ¿cómo se llama tu ciudad bonita? ¿Cómo se llama?
Santo Domingo, te espera con los brazos abiertos.
Ahí estaremos con Rubén y Marisa.
No tengo No tengo hotel 5 estrellas para ti, pero mi dormitorio está muy bien para arriba para que lo disfruten.
Con tal que no sea un hotel estrellado, está perfecto.
Claro.
No es estrellado, no es 5 estrellas, pero tiene espacio.
Okay, muchas
See
gracias.
you guys. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice Sunday. Have a nice week.
Bye.
See you.
Hacemos asado por acá.
Good.
Hola.
I go in private to ask you a question.
Okay, okay.